Our heat issues are solved for now.
At least for right now.
Our cameras. I know. It's bad. Why is it that the only time of year there's any nice cars out, and it's the only time of year I can film and it's a million degrees? All right, so we were going to do 5 things somebody should look out for before they buy one of these. What would be number 1 on your? You mentioned something about AP2 parts on this one.
Mm-hmm.
What was that?
So I'd say the absolute most important thing is if you're buying an AP1, get your AP2 retainers done. Like,
and what is that?
So the valve retainers they basically keep your valves from coming back up. That's what holds the spring that pushes the valve back up once the cam lobe.
And is there
down.
like a defect with the AP1s? Or?
It's not a defect so much as, I guess, I want to say poor engineering on Honda's part, because they did pretty good with this car for the most part. That is the only like really factory grenade thing on the AP2s or AP1s. So what will happen is, over time with mechanical over revs, like if you're just banging it out to 9K all the time, the retainers on the AP1 are ever so slightly thinner, just to be able to go all the way up to 9,000 without floating. Without floating the valves. So eventually, with all that force and just over time and over revving, they'll crack. They'll get like a small hairline crack,
stress fracture or something.
It starts as a stress fracture, and then if you just keep going like that, eventually it'll just crack. And what happens if there isn't something keeping your valves up? They drop down into your engine, and then boom, catastrophic failure.
All right, so if you get an AP1, you want to switch that out with the AP2.
No matter what AP1 you get, absolutely do. Especially if you plan on actually driving the car, which, I mean, why wouldn't you want to drive the car? Get your AP2 retainers swapped in.
All right, what would be the next thing?
The next thing is, if you're buying an AP1 from 02 and below, along with the retainers, get your Banjo Bolts. So with there's an issue with those. I don't want to say it's a huge issue. It's just, if you do a lot of spirited driving, especially on the track or something, the Banjo Bolts in the 02 and below model year, they just can't. The oil squirters, the Banjo Bolts can't deliver enough oil to the squirters to actually lubricate the cylinder walls. And if you're going crazy at the track or just doing stuff, it won't be able to keep up, and eventually, it's metal on metal, and it'll
seizing, and
it just won't lubricate properly. If you want like the actual rundown on what happens, definitely do your research. I'm just telling you from
something
what I understand.
Yeah. All right.
So
number 3, what else would you look out for?
Number 3, I'd say soft top for sure. These soft tops ain't cheap. They're not cheap.
Interesting.
I thought they'd be fine, because it's like, it's a Honda, it's small. But no, they're not cheap at all. So if you buy one if you're looking at one with a soft top that's like ripped, torn, has a hole in it, has a bunch of patches, definitely think about the cost in that, because if you don't want to do it yourself, which everyone says it's a hard job, it's not. Don't listen to that. It's not a hard job. It's just long. So if you don't want to do it yourself, it's like 8 hours of labor, I think, on top of the almost $1,000 for the soft top. It's like $500 if you get a black one, but I got tan because
it looks good with the white.
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
it's been my vision for a while.
Yeah, no, I think it looks good with the white, especially with the wheels you have on it.
Yes, that's been my
very
vision
well.
for a while.
Yeah,
but yeah, so look out for soft top stuff. 4, I'd say, if it's important to you, I'd say make sure that you're getting like a 10 out of 10 VIN car. And if it's not 10 out of 10 VIN, ask about it. Like if
what does that mean?
So every body panel, from what I understand on this car, is VIN tag.
Okay.
And if one is missing, that means the car's been in an accident.
Oh, interesting.
Or it's been replaced. Not necessarily been in an accident, but it's been replaced. But you got to ask why. So one of those things is, I think it's bumper, fender, both fenders, hood, the main one under the windshield, trunk, rear bumper. I don't know where the other 3 are.
But there's 10.
There's 10. There's 10.
I would never realized that.
Yeah, it's not something that was important to me. I didn't care. I plan on driving the car. I'm not keeping it in the garage. I don't plan on getting money back for this car. I will never get any of this money back. But yeah, so if it's missing VINs, ask about it. You want to know what happened to the car, because if these get into accidents, because of the way the frame is, once they get frame damage, they will never drive the same. They can never be pulled out straight. And I
would think not, with how long they are, too.
Yeah, it's just because, like, this is actually part of the frame.
Right, you sit so low in this thing.
So it's called a X-bone frame or something. I don't know.
No, you're right. Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, if they get frame damage, because of the way the frame is, it's all just like one piece. So if it gets frame damage, chances are everything's going to be kind of wonky. So look out for that. And then number 5,
final 5th one. By the way, this is completely just we wing this.
Yeah, and
you have all 5 ready to go.
Yeah, this is just it's just stuff that's coming. The first 3 I knew off the bat.
Yeah.
The first 3 I was like for sure.
Yeah.
Number 4 is like it's a little iffy because I'm like, I don't know, it's not important to me, but I know a lot of people stress it a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I might as well bring it up. So number 5, I'd say. Oh, actually, I know what number 4 should have been, or number 3 should have been your maintenance and upkeep. But number 5, I'll say maintenance and upkeep. It's maintenance and upkeep / who you're buying the car from.
Okay.
Because if you ask, so valve retainers, like I said, Banjo Bolts, and then valve clearance.
Yeah.
You gotta set your valve clearance, and if you don't do that, and the car is going to sound super chattery. It's not, your valves aren't going to be like as tight as they need to, because they do loosen up over time. So I would say number 5 is just know who you're buying the car from, and then just make sure you're keeping up on all of that, all of the maintenance, not just like oil changes.
Yeah, but the mile maintenance.
Everything.
When you hit those milestones, get it done.
Diff fluid, get that done. Change your transmission fluid. Make sure you're getting like good either Honda MTF or whatever your favorite transmission fluid is. Get some of that. Just make sure you're doing everything regularly. I know that valve clearance, oil changes, and diff fluid is like the 3 main things. Is like those are, once you do those, you're fine. Right. Plugs, obviously, all the extra stuff. So I'm gonna just end it off there and say just maintenance.
Well, now if somebody's going to buy an S2000, if they don't watch this video and they have problems with it, it's their fault, not ours.
Yeah, so watch this video, send this to somebody that you know is going to buy an S2K.
Yes. And then go follow Kimani on Instagram.
If you want. I mean, you don't have to.
Yeah,
I would appreciate it. S2 Chaotic.
All right.
S2 Chaotic. It's S2K and then Chaotic, but with a K.
Yeah.
So it's hard to explain.
It will be in the video description.
It'll be right here somewhere. Yeah. Right there.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna decide right there.
Awesome.
So yeah, if you're looking at S2K, don't think just like, oh, it's a Honda, I could just beat on it. They do let go, and that's only because people don't keep up with maintenance. So if you're gonna get an S2K, get one, because they're going up in value. So definitely get one while you still can.
Yes.
And then if you do, welcome to the club. They're sick. I love it. So, yeah.
Nice. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
That was good.